On Sunday, December 21st, 2025, hip-hop artist Nicki Minaj spoke at Turning Point USA's AmericaFest in support of Donald Trump. Now, Turning Point USA was co-founded by conservative podcaster Charlie Kirk, who was tragically shot and killed on September 10th, 2025. Nicki Minaj made a surprise appearance, and she was the guest of Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika Kirk. Nicki Minaj praised Donald Trump at this AmericaFest event, as reported by CNN and TheGrill.com. Nicki Minaj praised the 34-time convicted felon, Donald Trump, by saying, "I have the utmost respect and admiration for our president," she told the audience. She said, "He has given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys and win, and to do it with your head held high." She went on to say that Donald Trump was a good role model for young men. Now, I knew Trinidadian-born, one-time undocumented Black immigrant Nicki Minaj wasn't that bright. But this is ridiculous and insulting to the African-American community, who has supported her for years for some reason. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a historian and a national political commentator, as well as a Pan-Africanist. I have love for African people throughout the diaspora, and you've seen this on the African History Network show for the past 15 years. But we have to call out dangerous nonsense like this. What Nicki Minaj did is a slap in the face to any Black person who has ever supported her. She now supports Donald Trump, whose anti-Black policies have harmed our communities. Trump's attacks on civil rights, ending affirmative action, rescinding Executive Order 11246 from Lyndon Baines Johnson, 1965, which is affirmative action, attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, reducing government employment. And we know 19% of federal employees are African Americans, 19% of the 2.3 million federal employees are African Americans, attacking collective bargaining rights for federal employees, reversing environmental protections, like at the Environmental Protection Agency, making cuts to Medicaid, so 11.8 million people are going to lose Medicaid because of the big ass ugly bill. We know that 1 in 5 Medicaid recipients are African American. The expiration of the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which is going to affect 22 million people, and we know that 3 million African Americans received health care who did not already have health care from the Affordable Care Act, and that was under the early days of it. We know even more people have benefited from it. It's somewhere over 40 million people who are recipients of the Affordable Care Act in all. And this is going to have a ripple effect throughout not just the economy, but also through the healthcare industry. We see Donald Trump sending the National Guard into majority African American cities, unleashing ICE into immigrant communities that look like Nicki Minaj, revoking the temporary protective status from undocumented immigrants, whether they're from Cameroon, Haiti. It's 521,000 Haitians are having their temporary protective status revoked. We see him doing this for 350,000 Venezuelans, etc. But the only immigrants Donald Trump is allowing to immigrate to the U.S. are white South Africans, not those from Nigeria, who he claims he's bombing ISIS to protect Nigerian Christians. He's not allowing the Nigerian Christians to immigrate into the U.S. He's not allowing those from the Democratic Republic of Congo or those from Rwanda who have been engaged in a multi-year war. He's not allowing them to immigrate to the U.S., but only white South Africans who he claims are the victims of a genocide, but there's no evidence of a genocide against them. So we see all of this taking place. At the same time, we see the unemployment rate for African Americans has exploded to 8.3% under Donald Trump. We see 319,000 African American women have lost their jobs since February of 2025. And just 2 years ago, in 2023, around April 2023, there was a record low unemployment rate for African Americans at about 4.7% under Biden Harris. Donald Trump has unleashed policies from Project 2025 that are anti-Black. And we know that based upon the Project 2025 tracker, 48% of the 318 policies have been put in place under Donald Trump. And this is who Nicki Minaj chooses to support, chooses to come out and publicly praise. Now, let's not forget that Donald Trump incited the January 6, 2021 insurrection, where hundreds of his supporters assaulted over 140 police officers in an attempt to stop the bicameral or the bicameral constitutionally mandated session of both chambers of the legislative branch of government, the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, to certify the election results. And they did this in an attempt to nullify the 16.9 million votes that African Americans casted for Biden and Harris, and to keep Donald Trump in power. Then Trump gives a pardon to almost 1,500 of these insurrectionists on his first day in office. We don't have to talk about how Donald Trump's tariffs are wrecking the economy and making life even more unaffordable. It is especially having a devastating impact on African Americans and African American owned businesses. And according to the Yale Budget Lab at Yale University, is costing the average family, the average U.S. family, between $1,200 to $1,700 more per year. Not to mention, Nicki Minaj has made a career and tens of millions of dollars using the N-word and having hypersexualized, vulgar lyrics, okay, that dehumanize African Americans. Now, Turning Point USA, if you're not familiar with it, and check out the presentation that I did shortly after Charlie Kirk was killed at the African History Network. Check out the presentation I did dealing with a history of Charlie Kirk's anti-Black statements. But he co-founded this organization, and he said that the 1964 Civil Rights Act was wrong. He was against that. He has made numerous anti-Black statements over the years. He's against affirmative action and diversity, equity, and inclusion. He's a proponent of the Great Replacement theory. And he also had very negative things to say about accomplished, intelligent African-American women like Michelle Obama, Joanne Reed, the late Representative Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, and others, saying that they would not have been where they are without affirmative action, insinuating that they are unqualified. Not that affirmative action opened doors to people who have been overlooked, qualified people who would have been overlooked, but saying that they stole a position from white people. This is what this unqualified, mediocre college dropout Charlie Kirk said. Is documented. And I showed you the video in the segment that I did on the African History Network show. And we have the link to that here in the thread of the broadcast. So this is whose organization Nicki Minaj chose to speak at. Now, she must not have known that Charlie Kirk also is on video saying that Nicki Minaj is not a good role model for the youth as well. Now, he was correct on that. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Notice how conservatives who would tell LeBron James to shut up and dribble are in full support of the female Kanye West. Now, some people may say, well, she's just a rapper. Why is it such a big deal that Nicki Minaj spoke out? Okay. Well, first of all, understand that Nicki Minaj has over 220 million followers on Instagram, 47 million followers on Facebook, and about 25 to 28 million followers on YouTube and X. And I'm not even sure how many she has on TikTok. Now, shortly after she spoke at the Turning Point USA event, she deactivated her Instagram account, but she also deactivated her Instagram account back in October 2025. So she'll probably reactivate it at some point. But she has a lot of influence, and she is spreading a lot of misinformation and disinformation. And she also spoke November 18th to the United Nations in support of Donald Trump's false claims about Christians in Nigeria, Nigerian Christians being persecuted by Muslim terrorists. The fact of the matter is, as reported by Blavity and Associated Press and other news outlets, is that of the approximately 240 million Nigerians is pretty much evenly split between Muslims and Christians. And both Muslims and Christians are being victimized by organizations like Boko Haram, but it's actually Muslims who are being targeted the most and killed the most, because Boko Haram is saying that they are not practicing Islam correctly. It's not the Christians who are being targeted the most. So Nicki Minaj continues to propagate this misinformation. So what do you think about this? Post your comments here on the thread of this broadcast. I'm historian and national political commentator Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network and host of the African History Network show. Follow me on Facebook and fan base at The African History Network, The African History Network, and on YouTube and Instagram at Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Watch the African History Network show Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my social media platforms, and watch me on Fridays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network and on his YouTube channel, Roland Martin. Register for my online history classes, Ancient African Empires, the Moors, and the Transatlantic Slave Trade on Sundays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Visit my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and class starts on Sunday, January 4th, 2026. You can also support the African History Network, $, the AHN Show through Cash App and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. So visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com for more information. But we have to call out this nonsense when we see it. And we have to understand how dangerous this is for the African American community. Now, let's be clear. I've said this before on the African History Network show. White supremacy and racism attacks all African people, regardless of the religion that they practice, regardless of their country of origin, and regardless of the language that they speak. Okay? And we're seeing this in real time. It is the Trump administration is attacking African people regardless of where they are from, regardless of whether they are U.S. citizens, regardless of whether they are undocumented immigrants. Okay, so we have to watch for these games. We have to pay attention. 2026 is going to be a very tumultuous year, but we have to stay vigilant. We have to stay informed. And at the African History Network, for the past 15 years, we focused on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. Wakanda forever, and we'll talk to you next.